Back to Letters to, a series that is meant to cultivate community and eliminate loneliness amongst people who are really out there struggling. And whether you're listening to this because you yourself need encouragement because maybe you're dealing with cancer, chronic pain, mental illness, substance abuse, or maybe you're just the friend, daughter, sister, brother of somebody who is also out there struggling, thank you for being here. Today's story is from someone that is dealing with chronic pain. And although they did not leave their name and their age, it seems like they would be at least about 40 years old, if not late 30s. And this is her story. Unfortunately, it all started out when I was a teenager. One day I was at work, and when I ended up twisting and tearing the meniscus in my left knee, everything went horrible. I ended up having to have surgery, and unfortunately, the doctor ended up pinching the nerve in my knee. That led to me having a sympathectomy, which is to remove the damaged nerve that they damaged in the first surgery. After a couple of years of recovery and therapy, I ended up with lower back pain and issues because of the way I had to walk due to my knee injury. I ended up having a couple of slipped discs, and I had to have a couple of surgeries to have it repaired. The surgeries really didn't do much, and I ended up having to do a triple fusion and bone transplant, which is really the reason why I'm in chronic pain. In 2017, I got sick, and I was in a coma for a week, and I had a heart attack, heart failure, and none of this really helped my current situation and conditions. It wasn't until a few years later that I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, which led to me having kidney stones, and was the reason why I went into septic shock and ended up on life support in the first place. I ended up having a thyroid transplant and a tumor removed. They diagnosed me with hyperparathyroid disease. By this point, I had been through the ringer. Anyways, so after I woke up from my coma, I was so weak that I couldn't even lift my arms above my head. Thank goodness for my daughter who helped me through all of this. By this point, I had been suffering with chronic pain for 20 years. Thankfully, at the time, I had a doctor who cared and treated my pain. Unfortunately, she was harassed by the pharmacy or maybe the pharmacist, and long story short, I ended up being taken off my current pain regimen. I couldn't believe it. After being in chronic pain for more than 25 years, I was left with nothing to help with my pain. I mean, my medical record shows that I'm not lying and that I have had many surgeries and diagnosis, and all of that should be enough to justify my needs for medication. If anything, I should be given the right to quality of life. I'm not gonna lie, I have been in so much pain that I have thought about doing something stupid, but I never did it, obviously. I am appalled by the way the pain patients are being treated nowadays and how they won't even honor the pain patient's Bill of Rights. And you can't convince me that they are so stupid that they can't figure out who is a druggie compared to who actually needs pain relief. And absolutely, this has left me feeling frustrated and depressed. The feeling that not one doctor cares about the situation and suffering that we are all going through is one that I can't even explain. I know that there are many more people who are going through the same issues as me, and I want them to know that they're not alone. There are people advocating for us pain patients, and I will absolutely be joining the fight alongside them. This is a story of someone who has been dealing with pain since she was very young, and her support system is her daughter. She has felt neglected by the healthcare system. Some days are easier than others. If you identified with this story and you have anything that you would like to say to the sharer, or maybe you want to say about your own story, leave a comment. A chronic pain patient is someone who's suffering.